been hunting the Kissimmee chain of lakes for over 30 years, and have seen a significant amount of change over the years, as other people have, and people talk about already. But for a while there, probably 15 years ago, the lakes were overran. You couldn't run a regular motorboat through the lake except for down a narrow channel. And if you're trying to run that in the dark, it was impossible. Technology changed. We have mud motors now, and etc. But the transition from the problem when we drew down Lake Kissimmee and the other lakes, and then scraped the sides and stuff, and then spraying, since then, the lakes have never been the same. It's been a negative impact on the lake. I just really want to reemphasize the position that the United Waterfowl of Florida have, that trying to maintain 30% SAU, submerged aquatic vegetation on the lakes is I think, the proper target to address, and including hydrola as an acceptable SAV. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, Jack Harper. Mr. Harper, before you start, is there anybody else here called Jack Harper?
Yeah, me.
Mr. Harper, I know you put in several cards, but in deference to the other speakers, I'm going to give you one speaking session. If there is time at the end, we'll provide additional time, but we're giving you just one 4-minute session.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The killing of Lake Kissimmee. In January 2011, I sent a letter to the Lake and Ledger, Voice of the People. On January 14th, 2011, that letter was published, titled, "Massive Spraying of Lake Kissimmee Harms Lake, Wildlife, and People." The last 4 words of the letter was, "Stop killing Lake Kissimmee." 8 years after that letter was published, Lake Kissimmee and the KCOL are in an environmental disaster. Those responsible for this disaster are the 4. Follow the money. The FWC, South Florida Water Management, University of Florida, and the Florida Aquatic Plant Management Society, or FWC. There's the thing to the ledger. For 10 years, the 4 closely work together and are responsible for dumping tons of aquatic poisons such as dicot into Lake Kissimmee and the KCOL. Follow the money. The 4 ignored their own University of Florida report, authored by Vic Ramey and reviewed for the FWC by Jeff Schrott, who's now deceased, who is also the president of FWC. The 4 ignored their own University of Florida fact sheet, plant management in Florida waters, dicot. Right in the left page, dicot. Dicot is, quote, strongly catonic, and somatics. Thus, strongly catonic and is tightly held by negative charges of clay and peat, organic matter. Thus, dicot is ineffective in muddy waters. Dicot is ineffective in muddy waters, and y'all should know that. End quote. That means when you spray dicot in muddy waters, the dicot poison is going to the bottom. Now then, Wisconsin's DNR, dicot chemical fact sheet. The Wisconsin DNR dicot chemical fact sheet states, 30 or 40 fact sheets also state the same thing. Dicot binds with organic matter and sediment in the sediment indefinitely. Dicot is not going away. Dicot binds with organic matter indefinitely and does not degrade. This is quote, and will accumulate in settings, end quote. The 4 had to know this. The FWC should know it. I know they know it because they authored the stuff. The South Florida Water Management knows it. University of Florida knows it. The University of Florida will get the results they want for a study and they will put it out. Here's on Spatter Dock and Dyquat. This one is on Island Apple Snails. It's eating all the Kissimmee grass. For the following, this is a Mickey Mouse report. This is untrue. These two reports I just did are untrue. For over 10 years, the four closely work together and are responsible for dumping tons of aquatic poisons, such as Dyquat, into the Kissimmee, Lake Kissimmee, and the KCOL. Follow the money. The four ignored their own U of F fact sheet, plant management, far water, so that I've already read that. So,
I'm afraid your time's up.
well,
Could terminate the comments for us, please.
those responsible for doing this should be ashamed of themselves. The last thing I'm going to say is I live on a road that's 0.7 miles long, 13 permanent residents, 5 of them have developed cancer. They drink the water, they eat the fish, they endure the spraying. I personally have got colon cancer. I've just had an operation. Wonder if Morgan and Morgan wants to hear from me and the others. This stuff is poison you're putting in the lake. You know it is, and you've got to stop it.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. I think we've got just a very Thank you for doing that. Next up is Troy Attaway, followed by Dennis Dutcher and John Leach. Troy? I'm sorry, I fluffed that. My apologies.
My name is Troy Attaway. I'm a public works director for the city of North Park. I'm a professional engineer. One of my roles there is to oversee the management of the Winter Park chain of lakes. And I just wanted to thank the commission. We've been working with y'all for the last 10 years. And you've helped us in managing particularly hydrilla to a point where we have a healthy balance. And I think the key is a healthy balance. We've got, you spoke of the different uses, the different users on the different water bodies. We don't have duck hunters, but we have great bass fishermen, and we have a great bass fishery, and we have boaters. So I just wanted to personally thank you for the work that you've been able to do, the funding that you've been able to provide for us. And so I would like for that great relationship to continue. And so I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dutcher, followed by John Leach.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Dutcher. I live at 137 John Carroll Road East in Lakeland, Florida. And I am chairman of the board of United Waterfowlers of Florida. And I would like to thank the FWC for having these meetings. And I really appreciate you having them at a time of day when more people can attend. That's great. And I see we have a lot of stakeholder input in this meeting tonight, which is good. I've been attending the meetings here at the KCOL for at least 10 years, and we have a very diverse group here tonight. Some are very familiar faces and some new ones, which is good. We need a lot of people involved with this. I'd like to, thank you for pausing the spring program to allow a review of the program, and because the public confidence seems to be very low in the program at this time. This gives us some good time to evaluate the program, and hopefully we'll make some positive changes. Marty Mann's presentation was really spot on. And I think at a lot of these meetings we really need to present some facts that expand on why we're spraying hydrilla. We come in here and many of these meetings are led by Ed Harris. He does a great job. He says, we got 12,000 acres of hydrilla on this lake, we got to do this, we got to do that. But we don't talk about why is it there? Why is it growing so fast? We don't talk about the nutrient levels. Now, one of the speakers earlier had his whole list of nutrient levels and different impacts. That's great. This is information that the public just doesn't get. I believe that would help them to understand, or help everyone to understand some of the reasons why this management is necessary. To drill down into that and creates maybe a new position within had maybe a limnologist that come in and prep the meeting with this lake here has, these lakes that we're working on have this kind of nutrient problem. Most lakes in Florida have nutrient problems to some degree or another. And, you know, with that, you know, United Waterfowlers, of course, we support management of aquatic plants to maintain open canals and recreation areas, and we'd like to see, you know, at least 30% submerged aquatic vegetation on lakes. You know, we support aggressive removal of invasive floating aquatics. And, you know, because this create monocultures on lakes, and the cattails and willow monocultures are just not healthy for these systems. And we've done such a good job of stabilizing these lakes and turning them into the perfect retention ponds that they are, that a lot of those problems stem from that, we know. But I would like for you to expand on that at these meetings, and really, when you have homeowners come in and say, I don't like the weeds that are growing around my dock, explain to them, they got a dock, so we don't have to kill the weeds. That's the point of a dock, is to get you out past the littoral zone, not so that your kids have a nice clean swimming hole to jump off of. We really don't support the chemical spraying of submerged vegetation, except in, you know, cases where that's necessary to maintain navigation, vegetation-free areas around boat ramps and water control structures and docks and marina. But, you know, additionally, hydrilla, it just seems to invariably return. And we talk about hydrilla coming back after we spray it, but we spray it in order to try to promote the native plants coming back. But we don't ever see how many acres of native plants have we gained. I believe Danielle's given some slides on that before, and it appears as though from those slides we're losing. Hydrilla is winning in most cases. Or we spray so much that we just don't really have anything in the lake that really is working out. You know, with respect to waterfowl, when they lose, oh, I'm sorry.
So you can wrap it up, please.
Okay, with respect to waterfowl, when they lose a high carbohydrate source of food, such as hydrilla, which I know is not native, but the ducks have come to utilize it because their native vegetation isn't here. To me, this is an issue with the waterfowl. They deserve an opportunity to migrate and have a successful migration. And with that, I would say that UWF looks forward to working with FWC on this issue in the future, and I thank you very much for taking your time and having a great meeting like this.
Thank you, Mr. John Leach, followed by Dean Puller and Amy Gianotti. John.
Well, I'm Captain John Leach. I've been a fishing guide around here for over 30 years, and I've watched the lakes all over Florida, because I'm not concerned just with this fishery. I'm concerned with the whole state, because if you look at the whole state, a lot of our fisheries have gone to hell in a handbasket. You know, you look at Lake Kissimmee. Let's first of all, let's thank Marty and the guys that met with us. We have hydrilla in Lake Tahoe because they no longer go out there and blanket spray the hydrilla. They do blanket spray Cypress, Hatchet-Hahn, and Kissimmee, but they don't do Tahoe. And I think that's the reason we have the fishery we have on Tahoe, is because we do have hydrilla. I wasn't aware of what the chemicals are doing and everything that we have there. I think maybe harvesting might be a solution. I know you've tried it before and it doesn't work real well, but it does remove the nutrients that are bound in those plants, removes it from the lake. The same as with the water hyacinths. You do it with all the mud mats, you do it with all the gator mats, and I mean, you have to what tussocks, but the gator mats are just about non-existent anymore, you know, because y'all removed it to the point that, you know, and it's a good habitat for fish. I mean, like them or not, they're a good habitat for fish, just like hydrilla is. You know, so we need to go back to a balance, okay? We don't have to have 100%. We don't have to go out there and make 0%. We need to have a balance. We need to go out and cut trails. We need to go out and we need to manage, not eradicate. That's it.
Thank you, Ken. Dean?
My name's Captain Dean Puller, Gator's Big Bass Guide Service, celebrating this month 27 years of guiding on the Kissimmee chain. I'd like to applaud everyone for coming tonight. I had it on my Facebook page. I talked to numbers of people about it. It's about time some people showed up, because we've been here numbers of times over the years with very little participation on this, and it's always been a big concern of mine. It's a resource I make a living off of. There's some great comments tonight. When we're hiring private contractors to do work, we're all about profit, guys. We really are. I'm about it. You know, the more I can make, you know, it's better off for my family, my children. And with some of the, you know, these contract spraying companies, I can see where, you know, we don't have enough oversight in seeing what they're doing. A couple of years ago, the national meeting, Terry Seagraves and I spoke at that you guys had here in Kissimmee, and I would like to applaud Game and Fish for taking some steps on Toho to allow some of the hydro to start growing back. First time in a lot of years I've seen it on the south end of the chain. We've gotten a little excessive again. But it's all about management, guys. It really is. We've got to manage the resource. And I understand you have a big, you know, it's a big issue. But, you know, I see videos of companies, you know, spraying everything. There's, you know, banks that are devoid of vegetation, they're spraying it. And again, you know, where's the oversight from it? You know, how are we monitoring these companies and what they're doing? So, you know, I think in the future, I think if we hold more public forums like this, it's a great thing that you guys have started, and I think by more stakeholder input, it'll give you guys a little insight on what's going on. I mean, I see the lake every day. I went to Lake Kissimmee yesterday, and I was stunned to go into North Cove, and it's been a while since I've been down there to go fishing, and I was stunned. The cane grass is gone. It is decimated down there. There's very little hydro in the lake. The gatorweed mats, I was told after the Toho drawdown, hey, this is a native plant. This is good stuff. Okay, where is that gone? You know, we are ripping that out nonstop. You know, we complain about the navigational issues. I understand if some of the stuff gets to lock, it could be an issue, but you know, where have we thought about putting in the levees? If we get to a high water mark and some gets clogged up, if we've got a levee next to that spillway and that water can release south, we're fine. We don't have a lawsuit on our hands, but you know, we haven't implemented any of these things. And you know, I would urge you guys to take a look at some of those things, you know, down the road. I know we need to purchase some land and we need some retention ponds to run some of this water off of, and we can hold some of this water and try to clean up, you know, some of these issues that we're having. And I know it's all about money, but maybe if we start to divert some funding from some areas and put them into others, you know, we'll all be better off in the long run. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Next up is Amy Giannotti, followed by Mike Hulov and Joseph Rodriguez. Amy.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Amy Giannotti. I'm the Lakes Manager for the City of Winter Park. I moved to Florida well over 20 years ago. Prior to that, my career was in Chesapeake Bay, and I worked in coastal systems coming off of urban and agricultural areas in Central Virginia. Since moving here, I've had the privilege to work for the Florida Park Service, for FWC, for DEP, and now for the City of Winter Park in Natural Resource Management. So I've seen a lot of Florida, I've seen a lot of water, and my background is in environmental science with a specialty in nutrient enrichment for temperate and subtropical systems and plant communities. So I feel very at home here. I love what I do, and I just want to commend FWC's long-standing program and certainly internationally recognized for aquatic plant management, as it's here to protect biodiversity, ensure public safety, and maintain navigation and recreation. In Winter Park, we don't have an exceptional duck hunting area. It's primarily urban. But what we do have is, in 2011, we had the most productive bass fishery in Central Florida. We've also got competitive collegiate water skiing, crew, and sailing programs on our lake, as well as ecotourism with the Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to come in and visit our lakes to do that. We go after every little bit of exotic plant species that we can, and in doing so, we've maintained our lakes full of diverse native plants. If you haven't come and fished our waters, I would encourage you to do so. Please do keep in mind as you're making these decisions that many exotic species grow in excess of 6 inches per day from either stem tip of the plant. In some cases, these populations double within 6 days. So by turning our heads for just a few weeks, we're allowing these plants to take over effectively. In Winter Park and throughout the state, we try to use integrated plant management whenever possible, meaning we use a combination of mechanical, chemical, and biological control agents. That saves us the most money. It uses the least amount of herbicide possible. But these herbicides are extensively tested by the EPA and regulated, and they're also applied by professional aquatics, certified aquatic operators, of which I am one, and I think there are several in the room today. These people receive annual training and recertification credentials, and if you haven't seen the mountain of paperwork that we're required to submit associated with each treatment and documenting and logging that information, I would encourage you to get with a lakes manager and have a look at that, because all of this is well documented and well coordinated with the lakes managers who are overseeing these treatments. Mechanical harvesting, although useful, is often devastating to the entire food web community. Not only are you taking out lots of plants, but you're removing all the invertebrates and some of the vertebrate species too. It can, in some cases, wipe out the entire food web. So what we try to do is maintain these plants under what's called maintenance control. We treat regularly, we treat often, and we're treating small areas. It costs less money, and it allows us to use less chemicals on product over time. These products are very selective, meaning we can go in and target these exotic species and we have no damage or little damage to the non-target natives. So the technology is really, really good, and I would encourage you to maybe attend a conference and come and learn about what we do so you can understand better how these chemicals work. Bottom line, I would just like to encourage those in charge of making policy and implementing policy to make sure you're doing it with peer-reviewed research by credentialed and degreed professionals who spend their entire career learning about the best ways to manage exotic plants with the entire ecosystem in mind. Obviously, everybody has an interest financially and recreationally, and I think that's certainly at the heart of what we're all trying to do. So I'd like to commend FWC and all the cooperators who have worked very hard to keep our waterways moving in a direction to protect habitat. And let's not forget that a lot of focus is on the spray programs, but the amount of urbanization in Florida and the runoff from paving and development is significant. I mean, we see it in all of our waters statewide, and that is contributing a significant amount of nutrients to the water column. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike Hewlett?
Thank you for allowing us to have this time to comment with you. I work with Texas Aquatic Harvesting, and we're name only Texas. We're solely located out of Lake Wills, Florida, with our main office. And we have a satellite office in Miami and a satellite office in Hernando. In Citrus County, we're one of our major contractors with the FWC through the county, and it's absolutely one of the best programs in the state right now for managing with both harvesting techniques and spraying. These can work together. They're tools that we all need. And I would say that the program there should be looked at as a model, because it's been very, very well handled over many years that it's been in existence. I'd also like to say that we're not here as a harvesting company to belittle herbicides at all. Herbicides are needed. They're going to be a tool that is the toolbox and very valuable, so we're not here to do that. But we are here to tell you that mechanical harvesting does remove nutrients from the system, and it can be very well utilized. The costs can be competitive. We can do certain things with different types of plants that we can't do with big, thick, huge tussocks that are anywhere that we've harvested before from 4 to 6 to 8 feet thick. Those are costly, absolutely. But when you're harvesting something like a plant, hydrilla, water hyacinths on top, it can be done at a more economical value. And if we have enough boats to work continuously, we can even come down even further on our cost per acre and cost per hour. Mainly because we don't work for 3 months and then have to keep our equipment and our employees working for doing nothing for the other 9 months. So let's think about that. We can work together. It is something that we have. We have a 90-foot harvester sitting on the south end of Lake Kissimmee for 3 years doing nothing. It hauls 50,000 pounds of material in one load. It's sitting down there doing nothing. A load can be done in anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the type of material it is, and it's sitting there. Guys, we have 7 70-foot long harvesters, and those hold close to 25 to 30,000 pounds. We can help y'all. We don't want to take away from any of the herbicide companies. That's not what we're here. I already said that, but we can help where you're needed. We can modify our depths. We can now reach 10 feet deep in harvesting hydraulic. We have a table that will reach 10 feet deep. We can go down to the bottom, we can move up to 5 feet, we can harvest 3 feet. We can leave the duck habitat, we can leave the navigation. We can leave the habitat on the bottom, or slightly out the bottom, and the fishermen can be happy, and the ducks will still have something to feed on. We can help you in certain areas that can be very, very productive. Don't forget us. We're here, and we want to be a part of it. I'm a fisheries biologist, have 40 years experience in the state of Florida, and would really like to be a part, more than we are currently, with your program, and help the people have a better life out there and resource. Thank you.